everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Deals for Dentists podcast. Through these podcast episodes, I'll be interviewing dental professionals and companies and aim to inspire, entertain, and educate you on the best tools and technologies out there. My goal is to help make your practice and career more profitable, efficient, and most importantly, more enjoyable. And today we're having Naren Arul Raja back on our show again. And Naren is a serial entrepreneur and founder of Equa Marketing. Naren, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the show today, Eric. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, so today's topic is going to be a very hands-on one. We'll be taking a look at how to dominate your market with SEO and digital marketing.
Are you excited, Eric? I am.
I am, a man. Let's get started. So tell me all about yourself and how you started Equa.
Yes, as you mentioned, my name is Naren Arul Raja. I'm 46. I studied computer science and I got into what's called product management. I got fired 4 times in a row in my mid-20s. So after getting fired for the 4th time, I was a director, VP level roles in product management at tech companies. I said, I'm going to do something on my own. So between 2002 to 2007, I was learning by making mistakes. I guess most entrepreneurs, don't know what they don't know. So they learn by trial, and many of them give up. And I guess a few kind of stick around with it and figure it out. So I was the lucky few, I guess, who stuck around and figured it out. So going back to 2007, the US economy was crashing. And at that time, I was running a website called Busy Moms. A dentist in Chicago said, "You are so good at SEO, you get 200,000 people coming to your website from Google. Why don't you help me crush my competition in Chicago and help me dominate my market?" So that's how the whole thing got started. And then through word of mouth, we started spreading. And I guess that's kind of, how Equa got started. So in 2007, we had our first client. And then, through word of mouth, we spread and we spread and we spread. Even today, we don't, advertise. You don't buy paid ads. We don't set up booths. We don't do anything outbound. All of our clients come because they find us either because of some work we do for somebody or somebody recommended them to us.
Man, fired 4 times. Talk about, getting knocked down and picking yourself back up. That's awesome. I remember one of my, instructors in dental school telling me that smart people learn from their mistakes, but smarter people learn from other people's mistakes. And I was, of course, I did the latter. I made plenty of mistakes. So that's good for you, man, for, just keeping on and then ended up doing your own thing. So can you help me? Can you define what digital marketing is for dentists exactly?
Absolutely. I've been working on this since 2007. So I guess this is my 14th year. So if I were to summarize digital marketing in a couple of sentences, number 1, helping your patients find you. And number 2, helping them choose you. So first they have to find you. If they can't find you, so let's say I'm looking for implants, you need to be one of the people who I find when I'm looking for implants. If you are not one of those people I find when I'm looking for implants, there's no way I can choose you. So step 1 is helping people find you, and step 2 is helping them choose you.
Yeah. And that's, it's such a good point. If you're not in a big, shopping plaza where everyone can see you and they're walking by the grocery store and they can see you, or you have this big, huge sign on a very busy street, patients need to be able to find you. And then once they do, you want to get them to choose you to be their dentist. So can you tell me can you define nap for me? Because I do a lot of naps. I'm very good at napping. But I think nap is a very different term when it comes to digital marketing. Can you explain what that is?
Absolutely. So before I talk about nap, let me kind of give you a little bit more of a detailed explanation of how do we help people find you. So people use Google 5.6 billion times a day. And, in 2018 September, that used to be 10,000 times a day. So Google has grown literally 50 million times. Today, it's a verb. Pretty much anytime somebody is looking for a dentist or a restaurant or whatever they're looking for, they don't ask their friend, they just Google it. That's just how we've discovered things today. That's how we find things today. So What does it mean? We want to dominate Google. So the other interesting stat about Google is 90% of websites get zero traffic from Google, zero. And 5% get less than 10 people from Google a month. So the other 5% crush it and they get so much business from Google. If you do it right through SEO, you can be the one that gets so much traffic from Google. So what is traffic? I'm typing in a search term, dentist near me, or the best dentist near me, or dental implants before and after pictures in Arizona. Whatever the search term I'm typing, you want to show up. So we have clients who show up for hundreds and hundreds of keywords. I hope that'll be you one day, because you recently started with us, and we do the same thing for you that we do for our longest, best clients. So the idea is you want people to find you, right, through Google. So that's how people find you. Now, to dominate Google, there are different pieces. One is NAP, one is Google Eat, one is Google Lighthouse Co., one is quality backlinks, one is original content. There are like 6 or 7 big buckets we need to work on. If we work on those buckets and we improve on those buckets every week, every month, then over time, you're going to rank for more keywords, you're going to be seen more, and that's the key for dominating Google. So now let me talk about NAP. NAP stands, Eric, for name, address, phone number. So there are different websites like City Search, Yelp, Google My Business, all kinds of websites, Yellow Pages, the first directory. They're all directory sites, and they all have your name, that is your business name, your address, and your phone number. If your name and business address and phone number is not consistent, what I mean by consistent is if there's an extra space, if there's an extra letter or a phrase in one profile but not in the other, Google gets confused. So when it gets confused, it doesn't rank you as highly. On the other hand, if you have, for some clients who have been with us for 4 or 5 years, we now are managing more than 100 NAP profiles, which means every one of those 100 profiles on different websites like US news, different websites, if they all have the same name, address, and phone number, now you get a lot of traffic from those 100 websites, plus you get higher ranked on Google. So you sometimes can be ranked for hundreds of keywords, and some of our clients are ranking for more than 1,000 keywords. And also you get hundreds of tens of thousands of people seeing you for those keywords. So it's very powerful when you do effective NAP work.
Naren, so could it be as simple as on one website I have the address of my office named as 179 Great Road, ROAD, but on a different place it's shortened and road is just RD, or instead of street it's ST. Those little inconsistencies can really hurt your Google ranking. Is that right?
Absolutely. Now, Google doesn't tell you need to do all of this or else, but in effect, that's what they do. Like, remember, 90% of websites get zero traffic. So if you don't do all these things, NAP being one of them, and like you said, the exact example you said, ROAD spelled out versus not spelled out. Maybe there's an extra comma in one place and there's no comma in the other. Even your name, the way it's written, your business name, it's slightly different. That's all it takes for you not to get the maximum benefit from Google in terms of how many keywords and how many times people see you.
That's amazing that I could be pumping all this money into keywords like dentist near me or dental implants. And if I have these little inconsistencies, it's going to totally hurt my ranking. Speaking of that, can you just back up and just explain exactly what keywords means?
Yeah, a keyword is a phrase somebody types in or speaks into Google. So for example, dentist near me is a very popular keyword, or best before and after pictures. The other interesting stat I forgot to share with you, Eric, is I said 5.6 billion people use Google a day. 92% of those searches are what's called long tail, meaning they are multi-phrase keywords, not just 2 words, but usually 3 words, 4 words. So more and more people today are typing in longer keywords. Best dentist in 60616. The dentist, horror stories, Phoenix. Some people want to look at horror stories, implant makeover, different keywords. So people are typing in very specific keywords because they know Google is capable of answering those very specific questions. So coming back to your question of keyword, that's what a keyword is. It's just a phrase. Now, in the old days, people only looked at the keyword dentist, near me, or dentist, Phoenix, or whatever the city name is, right? But now, like, we have clients who are ranking for 4,000 keywords, and out of the 4,000, 500 are on first page of Google, meaning they are in the top 10 results. So the number of keywords have exploded. That's because Google has gotten so much better. So people are asking very, very specific questions of Google as opposed to dentist city name.
So essentially, with keywords, you're trying to get into the mind of the patient and what they're searching. And sometimes this can be a very lengthy, like you said, long tail group of keywords.
Exactly. Absolutely correct. So, and again, no point guessing it. A lot of dentists, the common mistake I see people making is they think they know what the person is going to type in, but we don't need to do that. Google provides a tool called Google Analytics, and it'll tell us all the different keywords that people use to find your website and how many people used it. How are you ranking? Are you on average ranking in the third spot? Or are you on average ranking in the 39th spot? If you're in the 39th spot, people are not seeing you because nobody has the patience to go through 39 listings. On the other hand, if you're on the third spot, there's a good chance not only are they seeing you, but they're going to click on it because most people click on one of the first few results they see on Google.
Now, can you talk about what a lighthouse score is?
Absolutely. So remember I said Google looks at around 200 factors and you can group them into around 6 buckets. One of those buckets is lighthouse. If you do it really well, there's a 15-20% of the algorithm is based on how well you do on lighthouse. Now, what are those factors Google is looking at page by page on your website? So you can't do lighthouse for one page and not do it for another page. First one is performance. So let's say your performance score is 17 and after our team fixes it, maybe it's 79. That's good. The chance of you ranking is going to go up. The other one is accessibility. So that's for people who are disabled. Is your website following the best practices? And if your accessibility score is higher, then again, the chance of you ranking goes up. Best practices. So this is Google looking at things like, is your website fast? Is it easy to use on different devices? So there are various best practices Google recommends. And if you, again, do all of them, the maximum score you can get is 100. The next one is SEO. SEO is a bit misleading. It doesn't really mean search engine optimization. It means technical SEO, meaning the technical things Google is looking at. And if those technical things are done well, like structured data and various other technical things. The last one Google is looking at is something called progressive web app. So that's the 5th one. That's like a bonus one. And that kind of means that your website is so good that it almost functions like an app. And Google calls it a progressive web app. So again, if you get a high score there, that helps. So your goal is to get as close to 100 as possible, the best being 90 to 100. So what we do is we have teams and we have a dedicated set of people who just work in the webmaster team. Their job is to improve your Google Lighthouse score page by page. A couple of other caveats. Google changes its algorithms 3,000 times every single year. So just on the Lighthouse score, like literally every day there are changes. So let's say you got a really high score 3 weeks ago, doesn't mean you're going to get a high score today. So you need a team that's not only fixing these issues, but of course discovering these issues by constantly going back and looking at, based on Google's latest changes, do you need to update any of your web pages? So it's a massive effort, but it really is worth it because that's the difference between you ranking for 3 keywords versus 300 keywords.
That is unbelievable how much goes on behind the scenes with Google and your website. And again, you need patients to find you and you need them to choose you. Naren, can you define original content and Google Eat?
Absolutely. So original content pretty much means every single sentence on a particular web page is written by you or somebody in your team, as opposed to it's copy pasted from some other website or web page. Now, many doctors are not aware of, the fact that even if 3 sentences are copied, Google is going to see this as duplicate content, which is the opposite of original content, and it's going to penalize you. What does it mean, penalize you? Now that web page gets put into Google jail, which means you will never rank. Doesn't matter if everything else like NAP and Lighthouse Score and all the other things we have talked about so far is perfect. So you want to make sure that every single page is original content. So we have 14 writers who are all, living in different parts of the US. Their job is to write content, and the more content, the better. So targeting different keywords. Some of our clients have 100 pages of content. But it has to be original. Now, the mistake a lot of doctors make is there are so many marketing companies that know that doctors don't understand all the details of how Google works. So they create template-based websites, and they would use the same information, the same content on multiple doctors' websites. So there might be a doctor in Miami who has the exact same page on implants, in terms of what's written on that page, versus some other doctor in, let's say, Chicago. You might think, oh, one is in Chicago, one is in Miami. Who cares? But Google cares, and it'll punish you. You go to the Google jail and you're never found. So it's really important you do that. Now, we have a tool called Copyscape. It's available to everyone. Go to the website called Copyscape, punch in a particular web page, let's say your sedation page, and see if Google thinks anybody else has copied it. If anybody else has copied it, or your webmasters have copied it from somewhere else, it'll tell you it's 39% copied, 47% copied. It'll even highlight the sentences that are copied. Now you need to fix it. So that's something that I strongly recommend. Google Eat is kind of another layer of this. It stands for expertise, authority, trust. If you are in certain industries that affect the health and happiness of a human being, you come under additional set of scrutiny. Why? Because if you provide the wrong health information, somebody who reads that might believe you and do something and might end up hurting that person. So Google takes it extra seriously when it comes to healthcare websites. So what are they looking for? They're looking to make sure you are an expert. So your credential, let's say you have a DDS from a particular reputed university, putting it there in a certain way Google understands will help you be seen as an expert. The next one is A for authority. Google knows that, hey, there are a lot of DDSs, but there might be some DDSs that are very popular and that are seen as authority figures. So for example, they may have done interviews on other websites. They may have videos of them talking about certain topics. So if you have those types of videos, one of the things we do is we take those videos and we embed it in your website in a certain way. So Google now not only sees you as an expert who has a degree, but also as an authority figure. Last is trust. People write reviews about you on Google. Now Google, will know that somebody wrote about implants, but let's say you have an implants page. The best thing to do is to take that review where somebody mentions implants and your practice name and put it on your implants page. So when Google scrolls through that and you link it, so Google knows it's a verified review. Google knows, hey, I need to rank this page high because there's an actual review on Google itself that is related to this page. So those are the three things that come under EAT. So make sure you have original content. Use Copyscape to find out if people are copying you, and of course pay attention to EAT and make sure every page has more and more EAT attributes embedded in them.
Google jail does not sound like a place you want to be. So don't cut and paste out there or use templates. And it's so you had such a good point that dentists, they can be giving a lot of money to some marketing companies that are going to be happy to take your money, and they're just placing templates on your website, and that's going to lower your ranking with Google, and Google's not going to be happy with you. So original content is so important. Naren, so I actually interviewed Gary Takis the other day, aka the Podfather. He's a coach, and also actually owns a dental office in Arizona called Life Smiles Practice. And he mentioned that Equa has been working with him. Can you explain his success in his office using Equa?
Absolutely. So he started working with us approximately 5 years ago. And we can include a review he wrote for us on Google itself. So, that's another example of us believing in reviews and getting reviews. So we'll put a link to that. And today he gets 100 new patient calls a month. And out of those 100 new patient calls, he converts 90 of them every month. He has a 2-doctor practice. Now, you might be wondering, how is he getting 100 new patient calls every month just from Google alone? And we did the same thing, helping people find him. So for NAP, we are managing 117 NAP profiles. We have more than 110 pages that are optimized for Lighthouse and that are ranked on Google. We have hundreds and hundreds of quality backlinks pointing back to different pages on his websites. We didn't cover backlinks, but that's one of those key points. How many websites are linking to you, and are those links considered to be good quality backlinks? So we work on that. We keep adding new content, original content, everything we talked about. Now, you might be wondering, how is he getting 100 new patient calls? The reason is, number one, he's being seen for 4,000 search terms. And those 4,000 search terms are used by approximately 100,000 people every month. So 100,000 people in the Phoenix area are seeing him every single month. So that's the wider end of the funnel. And then thousands of them are ending up on the website, going to his Google review page. He has 700 plus reviews. And then finally, because of all the other stuff we do around influencing people, which we haven't gotten into yet, many of them are calling, and he gets 100 new patient calls. He gets a total of 500 calls, but out of that, 20% are new patient calls approximately. So that's around 100 new patient calls every single month.
Wow, that's awesome.
One other thing I forgot to mention, you talked about keywords. He's ranking on first page of Google for 512 keywords. 512, not one, not two, not five, not 10, 512.
That's awesome, man. So cool. And so, I go back to your original story that you were telling me, how you got fired 4 times. You started your own business of Equa. First of all, how did you come up with such a cool name like Equa? Where did that come from?
Yeah, the name Equa came from, I was watching the Olympics, and there's an Olympian by the name of Clara Hughes. I believe it's around 2006 Olympics. And she just ran, she competed in a race. It's Winter Olympics. I think it was happening in Vancouver. And being a Canadian, I guess she was a local star. She's one of the very few people who won both medals in the Summer Olympics and Winter Olympics. She has quite a number of medals. And somebody was asking her, you were, skating and what was going through your mind and so forth. And she said, at that time she was young. I mean, she's older now, but she said, I've been training for a long time. I spent hours and hours every single day for the last so many years. So the typical reaction is typical mindset of anybody who has put so much effort when they're at the ring competing is to think about all those hard work, think about all the expectations, all the people she might let down, all the negative thoughts. So she said this native Indian, so Canadian native Indian person that she once met when she was training, gave her a stone and told her about the word Equa. Again, exact same spelling, EKWA. And what it means is being in the moment. So she told her, anytime you're competing or doing anything, just be in the moment. So what does it mean, being in the moment? So if you're skating, then being one with the ice. So all these thoughts, all these expectations, all these worries are not in your mind. You're just enjoying the moment. You are like one with the ice. You're just in that moment. So I was like, wow, that's a cool name. 4 letters. Back then, this is in 2006. I think I ended up paying like $3,000 or $4,000 for it. I think maybe $4,000. Nowadays, you can't get a 4-letter domain name. So I like the meaning of it, and that stuck.
I really like that, how being in the moment, because I, as a young dentist, when I was first coming out of school, I got really overwhelmed with the schedule and all the patients. And I try to do that myself now, where I'm just focused on that patient that is in my chair. I'm not worried about the other patients that are in the hygiene chair and the rest of my schedule. So I'm trying to be in that moment with that procedure, with that patient. So I think there's a lot of symmetry there with Equa and with dentists as well. So I want to wrap things up with a few final questions. If a dentist ends up hiring Equa, what kind of team is behind the scenes there? How big is your team with Equa?
Absolutely. So one thing I take pride in is 92% of our clients, we track this metric very carefully. So at the current as of last week, it's 92%. 92% of our clients stay with us every year. What that means is we lose less than 8% of our clients every year. So most of our clients stay with us for 10 years, 15 years, till they retire, till they sell the practice. So that's what I'm proud of. So how do we achieve it? I'm an engineer. I studied computer science. So I realized it's a technical engineering problem. So, SEO and influencing people has so many parts to it. So we build different teams. So we have 14 teams that do 14 parts of the puzzle. Each team has goals and targets every month, every quarter for every client. So those teams do their job in making their area better next month than it was last month. So for example, we have a webmaster team, we have a writing team, we have editors, we have SEO people, we have social media people, we have ads people, we have different teams working on different things, and their job is to improve. So when each area is improving every week, every month, then overall results improve. So many of our clients, 10 years later or 7 years later, like Gary, for example, he's getting, 500 phone calls, out of which 100 are new patient calls. Today versus, back in end of year one, he only got 100 phone calls and 20 new patients. So over time, even though he's not spending more money, we are not buying more ads, his results continues to grow and grow and grow. So that's kind of how we are organized. And that way, the other thing we do is we started working from home going back to 2004. So today people talk about it and it's the rage, but we have been doing this for 17 years now. So we got really good at letting people do one piece from home. So they just do that one piece they enjoy and they love and they want to improve in, and somebody else does the other piece. So this idea of having 14 teams really worked out, because you can't have somebody become the expert in 10 things. This is why we don't have a sales team. We only have one person, Laila, who's our director of marketing, and then I also get involved. That's it. We have around 180 people right now, full-time people, and that number continues to grow as we add on more clients.
That just blew my mind. You don't just have 14 employees, you have 14 different teams working behind the scenes there. So awesome stuff. So if a dentist wants to get a hold of you and they want to dominate their digital marketing SEO, what's the next step? How do they get a hold of you, Naren?
Absolutely. So we'll include a link, and it's equa.com, ekwa.com/MSM. That's a $900 value, which is a marketing strategy meeting, equa.com/MSM. And that's with my director of marketing, Laila Stone. She has been with us for 9 years now. So she knows this inside out, upside down, sideways. And what she will do is she will look at your website in relation to all your competitors and provide how you are doing on all the key components, like the 14 areas that are critical for your long-term success. How are you doing on Lighthouse scores? How are you doing on backlinks? How are you doing on NAP? If things are great, she will say everything is great and you just keep doing what you're doing. If things are not where they need to be and you're not ranking well and so forth, then she would develop a 12-month plan. So she would spend typically around 6 hours for every single meeting she has getting ready. And so she tells you where you are versus your competition, and then gives you a 12-month plan if that's what's the right thing for you. And we are very, very clear what to expect, what we do. So there's no surprises. Like, I want my clients to do ask all the questions before they start with us. So once they understand how we play the game and how to work with us, then it's a great relationship long term.
Yeah, I think that's important for dentists to understand that this is not an overnight thing. This is a long game. So a 12-month program, results don't happen overnight. Naren, last question. Any final thoughts or advice for the young dentists out there?
Absolutely. I think we have many people like in our community, like we have, like 80% of our clients are dentists. So I have a lot of experience, not only with them as clients, but also as friends and mentors and so forth. Like, I've seen dentists who go from, putting up their shingles to running a $3 million practice. My advice is it's a marathon. Usually overnight success happens several years later. So just stick with it. And then the other advice I would give is, to succeed in life or business, you don't need to master 300 things. You just need to master 10 things. So find out what those 10 things are. And a lot of times you don't even have to master it. You just have to partner with someone who has mastered that. So if marketing is one of those things for you, because instead of paying your insurance company 40%, which is a marketing fee, like Gary says, you might be better off spending 1 or 2% on digital marketing and then making it better and better every year. So you're ranking for more keywords, you're getting more phone calls. So find the right partner, whether it's marketing or accounting or whatever, and then build a long-term relationship. Success is like, it's not complicated, it's simple. Just find those 10 things that are critical, and then either you do it or find a partner who would do it for you better than you can.
Such great advice. Naren, awesome stuff. Thank you so much for joining us today. Naren, as we come to a close here, how do we get a hold of you?
Absolutely. I'll give you my personal email, which is Narain, N for Nancy, A for Apple, R for Reagan, E for Edward, N for Nancy. Narain at equa.com. I guess you'll include that in your show notes, Eric. And also our phone number. So you can go to ekwa.com, get all that information, book a marketing strategy meeting, or call us directly. And the number is 855 345 0593. 855 345 0593.
Awesome stuff, Naren. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Eric, for giving me this opportunity. I really had a good time, and hopefully we can help some of your listeners.
As always, I hope everyone finds this episode interesting and valuable. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the Deals for Dentists podcast on your favorite podcast platform and our weekly newsletter so you don't miss any of our upcoming shows.